Anu, are you on the webinar?
I don't remember this. I don't remember the Mondays, right? But you don't. I don't see the link anymore. I don't get those information anymore. I'm trying to figure out. I don't see it on YouTube nowhere.
So you're Anu Amaru.
Yeah,
It's not,
I
and
know
and you.
Amaru.
Oh, and so you're in Toronto,
Yeah,
and you're not on the webinar. So if you're
no,
not on the webinar, who are you affiliated with?
no, I'm not. I'm not really affiliated with anyone right now. I'm just, as I said, I just do my own research and fellowship. I live in fellowship basically. Yeah. Pick sense and pick the truth out of wherever I find it, right?
All right, and you do know you have to have a network of support. You are aware of that, correct?
Absolutely. Say that again?
Yeah, a network of support. Like there's a lot of people that I speak with that say they're doing research and studying, but they don't have any they don't have any network of support. Like anyone could get information off the internet. The issue is what information is valid, what's going to work, what isn't going to work. And so that's why
Yeah,
I'm trying.
yeah.
That's why I'm trying to place your name because it's not ringing a bell, and I'm trying to say when we spoke.
Robin, Minister J. Robin.
Oh yes, I know that Belanger.
Yes, I am in his group. I'm in the group also with that. Yeah.
Okay, is he telling you that black has no standing at law?
Yeah. Well, it's more faith based, right? It's more faith.
Which faith?
Kind of. Yeah. But
No.
I know that doesn't. I know, as I've been telling people, I've never ever in my entire life seen a physical white person, but I've actually seen black people. So I know white is a status because I've never seen a white person in my entire life. Been to Kenya, been to a lot of places, and I've seen actual pitch black people.
All right.
So therefore, what makes me think that why do they call themselves white, right? It has to be a status, right?
Yes. So therefore, if Minister Belanger's group is faith-based, which faith? Because you know Christianity was created by the Romans.
Yes.
And there's a documentary on YouTube called Caesar's Messiah. It's about 90 minutes. And the documentary shows how the Romans created the Catholic Church as a way to be a competitor to Judaism, because Judaism was running rampant. If you look at the time scale, Judaism is older than Christianity by about 2,500 years, and um, Egypt is older than Judaism by over 3,000 years. So Minister Belanger has an interesting predicament. If he wants to say God, which God is he talking about? What does his God look like? Because if his God looks pale like him, that's a genetic mutation. That goes contrary to Genesis chapter 9:25, where it said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant shall he be unto his brethren," and it talks about the Moses putting his hand in his bosom as a sign to show the children of Israel that the Most High sent him, and his hand became leprous. It was white as snow. And then when he put it back, they said it turned to his other color. So I have an issue with Mr. Belanger when Mr. Belanger keeps talking about God and church and Christianity, which hasn't been on the planet but 2,000 years. Whereas the pyramids in Egypt, in the pyramids in the Grand Canyon, those are old by hundreds of thousands to millions of years, here as well as in Africa. So it's interesting. So I can't see what remedy that Mr. Belanger could do, because there's a book out called The Negro Christian, How to Make a Negro Christian. Are you familiar with that book?
I've heard of it. I haven't really read that book, though. I've heard of it.
You could just type that into Google and the PDF for free will come up. If you go to pages 206 and 208, it talks about the purpose of making a Negro Christian is to advance the pecuniary interests of their masters.
Yeah, limit and control.
No, it didn't say limit and control. You never read the book. I'm telling you what the book says.
No. Okay, yeah.
The book says the pecuniary interests of making a Negro Christian will advance. When a Negro becomes a Christian, it will advance the pecuniary interests of their masters. So when black people claim their oppressor's religion, they're not going nowhere. They're not going to be free. If so, it's at the discretion of their oppressor. And outside of that, Minister Belanger has a very big problem, because his focal point is on a book that was created by the Nicene Council. And so whatever remedy he is providing, that might work for somebody that's pale. That's not going to necessarily work for somebody who is copper colored or dark skinned, because the courts recognize that black has no standing at law. That's a global maximum. Barack Obama revealed that. He exposed that. And nobody has said anything. Furthermore, the word black means pale in Old English, and blacks are considered dead in the eyes of the law and outside of the body politic. So the issue with Mr. Belanger is the fact that him, the New Age movement, people who call themselves religious, spiritualists, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, all of them are lying, because they're all doing what? Commerce. So when they do business, what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, pick a race. Pick one of these races. Black is ridiculous. Black is incorrect, because black means pale. And furthermore, African American is a patented meat and processed food. I did a video on that. So anyone who calls themselves African American, Black, Afro Canadian, Afro Caribbean, Afro anything, they are connected to that patent of meat and processed food. And so that's why Mr. Belanger, him, what's that guy's name out in Ontario? What do they call him? Sensei. I was on their meeting, and I said, what's the solution for people who are black or African Canadian? And I said, don't let my complexion fool you. I'm white. And I said that in front of all of them. Sensei ain't said nothing. All he said was, well, if you have a remedy that can help people of color, I'm receptive to it. I sent that to him, and was it True North Alliance? They never returned. They never returned that. All these different groups that are headed by pale people, they want the visible minorities as the pawns. That's what they want, because they don't have the footwork, they don't have the soldiers, they don't have the pawns, they don't have the manpower. But if they make the people who are visible minorities, person of color, part of their movement, now they'll have the manpower. But without those visible minorities, they're not going to have it. And so that, to me, is a lie. It's a lie by Minister Belanger. Go ahead.
So you're saying that you basically don't have a faith. You just believe in the You don't have like a spiritual faith, basically. You don't really believe in a spiritual faith.
Oh no, I
Oh,
don't.
sure.
I don't, because faith is a thief. That's the problem. If you say the word faith and play it backwards and reverse it, it says thief. So when they tell people, oh, you just need to have faith, that's faith is a thief. And when they say blessings, I'll give you blessings. Blessings is blood sprinkled on an altar. That's what the word bless/blessings is. That's the etymology. So if Minister Belanger is not teaching etymology, if he's not teaching Aramaic or Galilean Aramaic, if he doesn't have an interlinear Bible, the Bible he's using is from like 1789 or 1769, which is a complete English translation. He's not getting a Bible with the languages transliterated word for word. That's what he's supposed to have. He doesn't have that. I've sat down with him.
1611, are you talking the 1611 one?
Say that again.
Are you talking the 1611 Bible? What? 1611 or
The
1612?
1611 King James Bible is under a letters patent, but the thing is, if he's not talking about the Regina versus Jaw case, which I told him and showed him the documents and gave him the information, he is under the spell of Kingu, which is known as the spell of ignorance.
One second. What was that again? The what? Which one was that? What article you just quoted?
Say that again.
You just quoted something. I wanted to know which one. I wanted to see if I could look it up.
Yes. What is it that you want me to restate?
What you just said like 30 seconds ago. You said you told him to, if he's not looking into that, he's not really getting it. Which one was that you said?
I'm talking about, you mean about language?
Yeah, but you said something about the Bible, and you said if he's not, I think you mentioned a case or some.
Oh, you mean Regina? You mean the Regina versus Jaw case?
Regina versus Jaw? Is it Jaw? J-A-H?
Correct.
Okay.
I showed him that. So if he's not discussing that with you in his study group, he's a deceiver, and I'll tell him that flat. He tried to he's tagged me on Telegram. I'm going to respond to him. I just haven't had it. I got more important things to deal with. Some old goat talking about a Bible that he ain't going nowhere. I said, God, who's God? They don't even know the name of God. The calendar is off. The Christian calendar is off. The Gregorian calendar is off by 8 years. Why is the Ethiopian and Egyptian calendars saying this is the year 2016?
Yeah. So you more believe in the Gais language, and
I don't believe. See that? I don't believe. That's the problem. Belief is to ignore the facts. The fact is, the Christian religion has admitted, and I have Pope Francis's book. The book is called the Jesus Narratives. That Pope Francis's, Pope Benedict wrote it. And Pope Benedict stated that we do not know what city Jesus was born in. They don't know what date he was born in, because remember, the Gregorian calendar is off by several years. They don't know what time of season he was born. They know nothing about what the fictional character called Jesus, what was his origin. They know nothing of that. So how are people following a leader when they don't know what their date of birth is? But if you try to do any business and they ask you for your date of birth and you say they don't know, first of all, they won't believe you. Second of all, they'll say, well, if you can't give me a date of birth, we can't go forward with this transaction. So people are putting their energy into nothingness. So that's why I laugh, because I met Mr. Belanger, and Mr. Belanger again is still talking about faith and ignoring the fact that maritime law is the rule of the day until something happens or an external force happens to cause it to go back to law of the land.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
touch the maritime or anything to do with a person or
He can't touch it because he's fully and spiritually, he is spiritually contracted that he cannot touch anything outside of faith. He can't do that. His thing is, this is the word of God. Okay, what language did God speak? Now all of a sudden everybody's silent. Okay, what language did Jesus speak? They may say Aramaic. They may say Hebrew. Good. So why aren't you teaching that if that's the language of the Savior?
Well, that's how we said things transform, because I also listen to Pastor Gino Jenkins, right?
I don't
He's a
know who
very
Gina
powerful.
Jenkins is.
Yeah, I know, but he speaks of the Bible also, right? And
Are
he
you
tries
talking
to
about that
stick to the
black pastor?
translation.
Are you talking about the black pastor on
Yeah,
YouTube or whatever? And he got
I think
on
so. Yeah,
TD Jakes and then was trying to shut him down, and he said, no, I want to debate him. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's cool. I like him.
yeah.
I like him.
Okay, I like it.
I like him when he put that picture of he said, this is not Jesus. Soon as he said
Yeah,
that, if they say Israel is the Middle East and the climate in that area is hot, there's no way no pale skin's gonna survive there. Now when it comes to spirituality, everybody wants to talk about, oh, color doesn't matter. When it comes to that, because somebody's going to be at what? A disadvantage. The priests were the first ones that were sent to indigenous people to soften them up. And if they did not comply, then they would send in the military to force them to assimilate.
yeah.
So
That's what I'm seeing
Belanger,
now too in a lot of people.
so only thing that Belanger is doing, he's just independent contractor, but he's still worshiping the same sex spirit force.
Yeah, I saw the video where you guys sat down at, like, I think it was in the mall somewhere, and you guys had a good conversation.
Yeah, it
It
was a great conversation at that point in time.
yeah,
Now, at this stage of the game, if all the spiritual groups on the planet are not going to tell black people they're actually white, because all the religions are all doing what? They're all doing commerce. If you look at the charters of some of these Anglican Church, Protestant, the Catholic Church, they're dealing in stocks, bonds. The Church of the Mormons, I have their investment portfolio. So I know all the companies, all the mainstream companies, McDonald's, Starbucks, Home Depot, the Latter-day Church of Saints, the Church of Jesus Christ, all of them, they're invested in all these companies. So that's a conflict. That's a conflict. How is a Church of Latter-day Saints who believes that black people were cursed and had the curse of Cain and believed that they turned black because of disobedience in the heavens? How come they're invested in Walt Disney? They're invested in McDonald's, Wendy's, every major corporation you can think of, the Latter-day Saints is invested in. And so I'm saying, okay, well, if you guys are invested in them, if they're invested in them, why are they still asking for money from the parishioners? And if that's the way they want to do it, then give the parishioners access to buying stocks. And then therefore the church won't need their parishioners to keep giving the money, because the investments will pay for the church.
Yeah, there is tons of information in different angles, and there's definitely a trading places. I don't know who did device this deception of trading places and how they do all of that, but it seemed like they took like a giant bite out of the brain cell or out of history, where we can't put it together up to this day. We can't patch it up.
You can't put it. I've already put it together. I've claimed the planet back. John Anthony Hall, who won his case against Elizabeth II, called himself the King of Scotland and the King of Earth. And I had to email John and say, no, you're not the King of Earth, because the Guardian and all the British papers put out the original picture of the original Briton, as they say, from 10,000 years ago, say he was dark skinned with dark curly hair and blue eyes. I said, that's a nigger. So the Elizabeth and the Windsor family and the Batten and the Berg and the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, they ain't royal. They're a bunch of frauds.
How did they take over? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How did they take over? How did all of this just happen and we don't know how?
It was prophesized.
We're in right now, and it's like we've been picked up the movie with they put the thing in and they lost their memory. I think it's Man in Black, and they bring that thing in, the little stick thing with the light on it, and they flash the light and they go, "You are gonna."
Oh, so you believe that movie is real then?
Man, I'm starting to even cartoons is like 300 years or 1,000 years history. Everything seems like it comes from something, you know.
No, but my question is, since you brought up the Men in Black, do you believe that they exist, or do you accept that they exist?
Yeah, I kind of think so. Or I just think it's just this personality or the spirit in people, in physical man and woman.
No, it's a simple yes or no. So do you accept that it exists, or do you believe that it exists?
I kind of believe because I don't know. I believe.
Okay, so therefore, we'll say you believe. I'll conditionally accept that. So you believe that the Men in Black exist. So do you accept there's technology to siphon energy from your aura?
I think so because I've seen hypnosis. I've seen people go into hypnosis.
Do you accept then that they have the ability, what's called walk through walls technology, where they can walk through the walls of a person's place?
The remote viewing kind of thing.
No, I'm not talking about remote viewing. I'm talking about putting on a suit and then giving that person the ability to walk through a wall. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about.
I'm not sure. I know they have the clothes to make you invincible. I don't know if they can go through the wall.
You might want to look that up. Do you accept the fact, or do you accept that there are extraterrestrials and different beings from other star systems on this planet?
It has to. I think so. It has to.
Okay, so now my question to you is, why are you believing a book that Minister Belanger is teaching, which talks about giants in it, talks about star constellations in it? Hold on a second, I'm finishing here. I'm finishing up. My point is, for him to teach Christianity, because that's essentially what he's doing, yet in the book that he's teaching from, it talks about what? Star constellations. It talks about beings. It talks about giants. It talks about humans with 6 fingers and 6 toes. All of that is in the same book that he's talking.
I never had six toes, but I've had 6 fingers.
So my point being that in Genesis chapter 4, it talks about that. Genesis chapter 6, it also talks about the sons of God that saw the women and came down into the earth. 2 sets, an agreeable and a disagreeable set. One set of the sons of God came down, had sex with women, the men became mighty. Then there was another set of angels that came down, or beings that came down and took the women by force. So all of that is in the book that Minister Belanger is holding in his hand, talking about what? When there is a maritime admiralty contract that is being utilized on the entire planet. So the remedy for everybody on the planet, you have to tell the truth that black people are actually white, and that people who call themselves white are not. They are pale. They're from another star constellation. That was admitted to by what's his name, Clark McClelland. NASA astronaut admitted that he's a celestial and he's from Aldebaran Pleiades. Those are in the Booty star constellation. So if that is not going to be discussed, which is a reality, coming on Minister Belanger's event for the purpose of what? Getting, excuse me, for the purpose of getting any kind of redemption, freedom, etc., is delusional, because they're breaking out QR codes. They're talking about 15-minute cities. They're talking about taking people's faces and using facial recognition technology and voice recognition technology. So the computer intelligence, the mark of the beast / the beast, is a variable that can no longer be ignored. Elon Musk is making droids. He's also doing what is that, the link where you could hook your brain up, Neuralink, to hook your brain up to a computer. I'm like, dude, Belanger is an old relic. He is an old goat he's Jim Jones level, in that he will have people talk about faith in a spook spirit god that is not classified or defined, and provide no remedy for people who are doing commerce in a commercial world. Remember Men in Black? Remember, because you saw the movie.
Chancery and equity and faith-based ministers.
What faith-based ministers? What are you talking about? Chancery, you got to be a creditor. Ministers are not creditors. You brought it up, Chancery, not me. Chancery, you got to be creditors. Equity, which definition of equity are you talking about? There's at least 6 or 7 different definitions.
Yeah, it's accepting that based off of the ownership, act, the Canadian Ownership Act, that we are creditors based on because of the
Nope. You can't use the act. Any act that was legislated violates the Regina versus Jaw case, and it violates Elizabeth II's oath. Because every province has a lieutenant governor who represents the crown. The crown is the Rothschilds. So there's the ownership they're talking about is the Rothschilds. You can't have their contracts and make no amendments or notations on the contracts and then turn around saying I'm free. Case in point, remember the trucker convoy?
Yeah.
What was the biggest mistake that they made, all the truckers made, was the fact they were waving the Canadian flag.
Is that so?
Yes, because there was a guy out here in Alberta called Eldon Warman, and he got the email proving that the flag of Canada is a property of the government of Canada. It is a corporate banner. So when people were flying pardon?
Which is that makes you under the crown, basically crown.
Correct. That means when they wave the flag, they are agreeing to the terms and conditions as corporate chattel property. Got it?
Put them under the jurisdiction, yeah.
And so when they were waving the flags, but they were telling people to donate to the trucker convoy. And this is what they weren't telling people why they cracked down on them so hard was, look, you're waving a corporate flag. That's fine. We don't care. That's free advertising. Where the problem came in is they were collecting money, and the flag was acting as an advertisement or a lightning bolt for people to join or to donate. And that was the mistake that they made. So the government is saying these people are trying to overtake us because they're holding the Canadian flag. They're saying they are with the government by waving the flag, flying the flag, protesting, walking down the street, having Canadian flags around them. So by doing that, that is a breach of that contract, and saying we want these COVID restrictions and the mandates, we want them rescinded. You can't rescind that if you're agreeing to be under their jurisdiction. Now, can they?
Yeah.
So, did Minister Belanger explain that to you?
No.
None of the truckers, not True North Alliance, none of them explained that. And I'm sitting there like, what the heck is wrong with you all? And so I shared an email of the actual email from what is it? It's Industry Canada. I can't recall Industry Canada. And they said, listen, they told a company in Vancouver, we see that you're using the flag to advertise. You can't do that. And so they said, they sent them a cease and desist. And they said, if you continue, then you are guilty of violating the Copyright Act as it pertains to the Canadian flag, which is a corporate banner. Now, if they would have flew the flag of Ontario, they'd have been straight. If they'd have flew the flag of Alberta, they would have been straight. But they flew the flag of the government, the federal government.
Okay, I never thought of that, because I think some people are getting back some funding, or I think some of them got some what do you call it?
They got their accounts frozen. People got their accounts frozen for doing that, because from the government's perspective, that is an act of war, that they want financing. When they block the bridges, they're blocking commerce, but they're waving the Canadian flag. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, that would kind of look, yeah.
But see, the public has been so manipulated, brainwashed, mind controlled. They feel we're standing up for our country. You're standing up for a corporation.
Yeah, it's a corporation for sure. Registered on Broad Street. Seen it myself.
Okay, so if they're, and when they register on Dun and Bradstreet, they're registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. That means they're under whose jurisdiction?
Yep, the owners and the investors.
Which is?
Of that corporate.
In this case, it would be who?
Be the family, Rockefeller, could be the Crown, could be a few other people. You know what I mean?
In this case, I'm being real specific. In this case, as it pertains to the trucker convoy, who are they saying they're under the jurisdiction of? By who?
Well, basically, it's a federal, you mentioned, right? Federal government?
Yes, and which federal government?
Canada.
So therefore, they are chattel, as Minister Belanger would say, and are property. Do slaves have rights?
Limited, very low.
I'll conditionally accept that. Very low rights. So if their overseer, which is the government, says, okay, you have the right to protest, scream, get it out your lungs, go back to work. And now they're saying, we're going to fly your banner and then collect money using your banner. So if somebody... say that again?
Yeah, I kind of understand that, but I never looked at it like that. I figured that, but it would make sense the way if you live on the flag.
Not a federal flag. Provincially, yes, because this is how I know Minister Belanger is ignorant and chooses to remain ignorant, because he's an old man that wants to continue doing the same thing and expect a different result. That is the legal definition of insanity. He's not talking about the 1931 Statute of Westminster. All the provinces based on that were already sovereign, but they failed to act on it. So when they failed to act on it, the corporations came in and took over and organized over the people. That's what happened. Now, because of the Regina versus Jaw case, and Charles is the issue of Elizabeth, and she violated her oath on June 2nd, 1953, this means what? That his claims as the King of England is 1,000%, 1,000,000% fraud. Because once they released the Cheddar Man picture, reconstructed the bones, and I said, that's a nigger. So the original Britain was a nigger? Good. That means these people calling themselves royal are not. Their genes at best are mutated. So they have no right or claim to anything. That's why I have a lien on Elizabeth. I have a lien on the British throne. I've claimed all of that. I have it on the blockchain, and I've had people give me tokens off of the UCC financing statement of claim that I have on Elizabeth II, and that claim extends to her heirs in perpetuity. So, Minister,
the NFT?
yes?
Yeah. Was that the NFT? You did it by the NFT, right?
On OpenSea.io.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with that, anybody could go purchase an NFT of me, of a picture of me in the throne room.
Yeah, I am. I'm sure. I tried creating a few stuff and so forth too when it just came out. Well, I think even Buju Bantan was telling the people about it. That was another way of it's a big market that people should figure out, you know.
Well, you got it. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You can't go onto the blockchain or crypto if you're black or African American, African Canadian, person of color, visible minority. Because now that they're introducing facial recognition technology, and if you don't have a pre-existing contract to counterclaim either a QR code or NFT, because all the governments are on the blockchain. We know about this. We were told about this at least 2 years ago, that all the governments are moving toward the blockchain. And the thing with the blockchain is you can't, that's what they like to see. You can't lie in the blockchain. I'll say you should not lie in the blockchain. That's more than likely, because I know there's scams going on. However, you should not lie in the blockchain. And now, once you post on the blockchain, it becomes a timestamp. So when I put the claim on Elizabeth on Facebook on December 19th to December 16th, 2019, pardon me, October 16th, 2019, when she opened Parliament and wasn't wearing her regalia, and the page is holding the crown in front of her, that was a confession that she knew her fraud is done. But all these people are still believing her, so she'll play the role with them, but she wasn't going all out. Everyone was in their regalia. The lords were dressed up and everything. She comes out, what happens? She's wearing what do you call it? A derby dress. She's not, and she should, and that was the opening of Parliament in the United Kingdom. So she was supposed to have worn the crown jewels. She was supposed to put her white on, and she did not. And so these are the points I am tendering to you, that Minister Belanger, again, is an old goat. And if he wants to stay in the thief, he can stay with the thief. But as far as if you are copper-colored, carbonated, melanin is the misnomer word to use, he can't give you no remedy. He is a mortal. I'm a deity. I had an Amorite, and that's on that clip is on my OpenSea as an NFT, where he started saying, well, can't we, get together like men? I said, you're immortal. I'm a deity. And he said, I can accept that. So they already know who we are. So that's BS. So if there's a lot of black people messing around with Minister Belanger, they stupid. And if they want to be with him, they can, because that means they're worshiping the image of the beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my videos, I have videos on my other YouTube channel, and I have videos on my BitChute channel, and I have other people putting my other videos and my old videos up. So I'm right now remigrating, but it doesn't mean anything, because if you don't come on my webinar and get white with me, what you learn, it's not gonna work, because of them being able to use a body area network through the 5G towers and a wide personal area network and the internet biosensors that they're putting in people's bodies, the body biosensor unit, body central unit, right? All of that, they're going to they'll be able to scan people's cells and know what resonance that person is on. So, like I've warned people, they can take my information, they can watch it, learn it, but if they don't have a certificate of achievement from me, the entities are already going to know, oh, you're not with him. So they're fooling themselves, and the people like Minister Belanger, he's old, so they're not really gonna mess with him. Ah, he's an old goat, don't matter, leave him alone.
Do you work with the UCC? Is that what you're saying? You work with the commerce? So you work with the
I don't
UCC,
work with it. The UCC is the highest form of law on the planet. Everything is maritime. Why are the churches doing baptismal certificates? Did Jesus get a baptismal certificate?
No.
So why are people getting baptismal certificates? Why are people getting put into water to be baptized?
Yeah.
Because didn't John the Baptist say, hold on, I'm making a point here. We can't overlook this.
Okay.
John the Baptist, because Minister Belanger will accept that book, whether it's the 1789 Oxford edition of the King James Bible, whatever, it makes no difference to me. He's going to accept that as fact. And my point is, in the book, in the New Testament, John the Baptist said, I baptize with water, but he who comes after me shall baptize with fire. So why are all of these pastors, when people say they're a born again Christian and all this stuff, are getting dipped in water, which is what John the Baptist did? Why aren't they baptizing by fire? Because they don't know how to do it. So that's hold on. So that's fraud. That's what that is. That's fraud. So if he's guided by the Holy Spirit, he's guided by God. God should have told him, or him and the rest of them, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen and the rest of them, y'all stop baptizing by water and baptize with fire. And I'll show. And here's how you do it. Nope, they ain't doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would your definition of being baptized by the fire mean?
Exactly what it means. Baptized by fire, not thrown into a fire, not held over a fire, not dumped into a fire. Baptized by fire.
Okay. And when you mentioned the UCC, I wanted to mention to you that Canada here, at least in Ontario, we have a thing called the PPSA.
Yes, which is called the child, which is known as the child. PPSA is the child of the UCC, and I have PPSAs on file in the province of Ontario with liens against the government of Canada and other parties. like Elizabeth II, etc. Continue.
Yeah, because I was able to put something on there, and then I was able to see it on my credit score.
Yes, but you got to be what? You have to be white.
And then and it comes up depending on how you want to set it up. But you could do various things like that, right?
You have to be white, or they're changing it now to Caucasian. If you're not any of those, you can't use UCC. This is where a lot of people. Who did you say the group was with? You was with the Moors?
Yeah, we have. No, I'm not with them anymore. I study with them. I research with them.
Yeah, but they're all agents.
Yeah.
What you studying with agents for? They're not. They can't do nothing out there in Toronto. They can't help you. They're still walking around calling themselves black, and even if they say white, they haven't changed their contracts. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that is a setup. That puts people in a position to get into commercial problems, because then they'll say, here is a debtor trying to access a procedure and a process that is only for creditors.
Yeah.
That's why they don't mention me, because I know them, Taj Tariq Bey, Great Seal, all of them guys is agents and frauds. Every last one of them. If they're not talking about being white, if they're not talking about claiming their indigenous heritage, if they're not talking about the fact that it is a maritime contract and you have to go to overseas to rebut the presumption and assumption that your chattel property underneath the Vatican, you're not doing nothing. You're not going to accomplish anything. That's what Minister Belanger should know, because I know he ain't wrote the Vatican. I've written the popes multiple times. I teach autochthons, white autochthons, how to do it, and they've also contacted the Vatican. That's what deities do. That's what the original descendants of what they call the Moors or the Mori, who were in Europe, right? The ones over in Canada and the United States, they stay domestic. They're not international. They were bragging about what's his name? They were bragging about Pope Benedict when he had that Moor's head on his coat of arms when he became Pope. They were bragging about it, but I was like, that was a sign that you all were supposed to write him. But the reason why they can't write him is because they are government agents and domestic Negroes. So they can't go international. That's the reason why. What's the point of talking about a Moor's head on Joseph Ratzinger's shield? Then they say, oh, his family got that from the Moors, but then you guys don't write him, and you guys are going through all these legal problems in the States because they're Negroes. They have a Negro mentality. They are domestic. They talk about the Treaty of Marrakesh, but I don't know any Moors that are communicating with the top dogs like that. They straight domestic. So if you want to do commercial processes, I'm just letting you know, nobody's going to tell you this except me. If you want to do the PPSA in Ontario and your race and ethnicity is not white or Caucasian, and you don't classify or self-identify as white, Caucasian, or even Aboriginal, forget it. You're not going. They're going to say nah. They're going to disregard it because they'll say black has what? No standing at law. We don't have to listen to anything you do. Thank you for the money for the PPSA. We're not going to honor it because you didn't know where to go and who to contact as a backup in case the people in Ontario dishonor. I teach that. So if you're not going to my webinar, studying my information is pointless because they're going to see, oh, you're not with him. They're going to mess with you. Just letting you know.
you still keep the webinar though. That's what I'm saying.
The webinar is still on. The webinar, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess you don't post it anymore then, right?
No, I still do the webinar. Webinar ain't stopped.
And do you still post it? That's what I'm saying. Do you post it on YouTube?
No, I don't post the webinar on YouTube. I told you that channel that you were seeing the videos, that's gone. And that's why we had told people to get Real Player. We told people over a year ago, get Real Player, and you can download my videos onto your computer. So some people did it, but most people, they're just content. Okay, it's there. Now that it's not there, that doesn't mean I stopped. Nothing has stopped. We're just remigrating, and I have a different channel. I got about 4 different channels, but the main ones right now are BitChute, and I have another YouTube channel, which I'm going to migrate the videos that we're doing currently. We're migrating those videos over.
Okay. That's why I couldn't, because I said I never. This is
But the point, but you see, the point is you're not on my webinar. This is my point. Why would you not want to learn from the source?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Well, we'll see, because you're not on the webinar, and I'm still trying to place your face, your name, and all of that. But you said we spoke, so obviously, because you called, something of that nature, but you're not on the webinar. So until somebody comes on the webinar, they're not serious. That's not serious to me. They're not serious as far as I'm concerned. That means they're just hopping around looking for information.
Well,
They're an information gatherer, and that's all they're going to do is gather information, and they're not going to do nothing with it. Even if they have support, they won't take advantage of the support. They won't utilize the help. I have the experience. There's nobody else up in Canada. Let's see, one other that I've shown how to do this. Out of all the Canadians, black Canadians and whatnot, they're not ready for freedom. They're bullshitting.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm always willing to come on the meetings if it's still going on.
I told you that the meeting. I told you the meetings are happening. I never said that we stopped. I said that we are doing the meetings.
Yeah, but you have to send the link. You'd have to send me the link, right?
Are you on the webinar list? Did you send me an email request to get on the webinar?
No. How would I do that?
So therefore, that means you weren't even reading the description. That means you were not even receiving the description box. You weren't looking at the description box to how to get on the webinar. There's more information that I put in the description boxes. So if you give me your email, pardon?
Okay, yeah. I give you the email. I can give you the email if you can send it, or if I can look on it. But if I look on the YouTube, if it's there, I can find it there.
You're talking to me now. Why wait? Why take the chance? I can send you the email. That's not a problem. I'm just waiting for you to give me your email address.
Okay, all right. So
I don't know you. I don't know you. So to say that, I didn't take the jab, that's not good enough. I don't know you. So your word is not gold to me. So I have to find out. See, that's the difference between. Hold on. That's the difference between belief. That's the difference between belief and fact. Belief and knowing. So I need to know what you're saying is true. I don't believe anything, and I don't teach people to believe anything I say. I say what I tell you, I'll give you the links, and you go check to confirm that I am in fact telling you the truth. Minister Belanger is saying to have faith in God. Why you got to do all that and still have no remedy? Where was God when people got shot with the jab? Nowhere. So that should tell people something. And now you got an old man with a Bible that's got a letters patent acting like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread in the English language, which is the youngest language on the planet. Not even the language of his Savior. Are you kidding me? And I'm supposed to take him serious?
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing I kind of doesn't want to mention about ISIS and Orion, because he thinks they are anti-gods, like antichrist.
He doesn't want to talk about what?
That was the only thing that kind of like ISIS, Urias, and those type of Egyptian gods, right?
Oh, you mean Aset and Asar? You mean Aset and Asaru and Tahuti? Yeah, that's Asaru. Osiris. Osiris is Greek. Isis is Greek. That's not the original language. Do you see what I'm talking about? Her name was Aset. The Natirt was Aset. The deity was Aset. The deity was for Osiris is Asaru. That is what their names were, not Isis, not Osiris. That's Greek. That's what the Greeks called them. And see, that's where a lot of confusion comes in because of language.
So what was the proper name for all three of them? It was the mother, the father, and the son, right?
You mean the Father, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost?
No, I'm talking about ISIS in Egypt. Like, I mean, what was the proper name? You said it was Aset, or?
Yeah, I just told you, Aset. I just told you it was Aset, and it's Hebrew. Horus is Greek. Horus is Greek. Horus is Greek. That's not his, it's Hiru or Haru. That's what it is, not Horus. Horus is Greek. So how do you expect an old man following a 2,000-year-old religion, and the Egyptians are credited, as they would say, with the foundations of all life on this planet, all the technology, all the knowledge of mathematics, chemistry, algebra, high math, all of that was all out of Egypt. But I'm going to listen to some old man holding a book that's underneath a letters patent from the United Kingdom and say that that's what should be followed, and have faith and believe, right? Because all you have to do is ask them, what color is Jesus? And they'll say,
Originated from, are you known or believe that we are originated from America, or we actually African?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that I know for a fact, because I have the data to prove the haplotype of the African American, as they say, which would include those in the Caribbean. It is indigenous to here. It is not indigenous to Africa. Yes, the same people, but the DNA can prove that they're indigenous to here. All those stars saying they're connected with some tribe in Africa, that whole thing was a scam. It's all BS. All of it. Oprah, Isaiah Washington, all of that's a lie. All of that's a lie. I got a picture right now in Alberta. Hold on, you gotta listen. You really gotta listen. There's a picture I have. It's called the Badlands Guardian. If you type that into Google search and images, you'll see a picture of the Badlands Guardian, which is southeast of in Alberta. And when you look at the image, you can only see it from the sky through Google Earth. And when you see it when you see that, you'll see the big nose, you'll see the big lips. And I said, oh, that's a nigger. I know what that is.
What is it called? Badlands what?
Badlands Guardian.
Oh, that's in Alberta. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, you see, you pulled it up.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Is it located, it says, in the southeastern Alberta, Canada, near the Medicine Hat?
Yes. Continue. Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you see? What do you see?
Yeah, I see the lips and the nose, bro.
So what does that look like? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, I see it. So what is this?
Stop. Answer the question. Answer the question. What does that face look like? Who does that look like? Who's that representative of?
Yeah. That looks like a real Negroid.
So, when you see that from the sky, from Google Images in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and you are seeing this, because I told you you looked it up one time and you're looking at it. What do you look? Do you see a First Nations the way they have it in Canada, or what do you see there?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what year this is on.
Well, you're not answering my question, sir. You keep jumping away.
Yeah.
I'm asking you a very simple question. See, these are the points that I bring up when black people get into spirituality, they don't want to talk about anything that Master might be upset with me. That picture is on Google. What does that look like to you? Tell me what you see.
Yeah, I see definitely resemble a Negroid.
So, when that face looks like a Negroid, where are the rest of the First Nations in Canada when that picture came out? What did they say? Nothing. You know why, don't you?
Yeah.
Why?
Denying people. They just keep denying the people. They deny who the real facts they cannot deal with. I don't know why they.
So therefore, hold on. So therefore, if you're saying that picture there proves that who was here first?
The reason why I cannot say because I want to ask you what is this picture foundation like meaning like
It's from the sky. That's the only way you can see that picture. They call it the Badlands Guardian. So what are the chances of seeing, as you say, a Negroid face in Alberta? And that's why I asked you I pointed out when it came out, the First Nations never said nothing. They kept their mouths shut. Why? Because they know they're migrants from Mongolia. They're from the Red Deer Caves in China. There's some Chinese young guys that are doing podcasts, and they say, yeah, the American Indians, they're not the real ones. The real American Indians are the black people, as they call them, and the ones who are saying they're American Indian, redskin, they're from the Red Deer Caves in China. That means they're migrants. So the reason why they would deny that truth, just like when Julie Black changed the old Canada at the basketball game. Hold on a second here, please. All right, you there?
yes.
All right, so I'm back. Yeah, so when you see that picture in Medicine Hat, because you asked the question, you said, what about well, why would they do that? Why would they deny it? Because there's going to be an economic loss. Do you understand how much money the First Nations get? What happens when it's found out, and it's out already? It's just a matter of it soaking in that Egypt was here first before it was in Africa because they have blocked off that area of the Grand Canyon and that's surrounded by the military. So the people calling themselves American Indians, straight south here, I think you'd hit that Yellowstone National Park from where we're at, because we're on Treaty 6 territory. So that would mean that the people who are saying they're First Nations, they migrated here, so they're not indigenous to here. So if you saw the video that we did when we were at the solar temple last year on the Gregorian calendar, so you saw the video.
That video, which one? When you have the what do you call it, the pyramid copper, or is it somewhere else?
It's a big pyramid, and I was standing in front of it, right? So you saw it, and I would have my Tamarayan garb on. You saw that picture at the end of the video?
No, I don't remember that one. No, I don't remember that one.
Okay, so you haven't seen it. But this is called, it's called the Majorville Cairn, and it's a 5,000-year-old solar temple. So we've been there twice in 7 years. So that's a 26 kilometer pyramid. Not pyramid, pardon me. The temple is actually 26 square kilometers. It takes you an hour to get there, and we've been there twice. So, as I'm expressing to you, the fact still remains that we're here first, not only in the West, also in the East. All the other races are making money off of you all calling yourselves black. So when the truth comes out and it finally hits home and it has to be accepted as self-evident, these people are going to lose money, they're going to lose houses, they're going to lose everything, because they'll say, well, you're not the original, so how are you entitled to be getting all these benefits when you're not the first people? That's why they like to call themselves First Nations. The First Nation here in Canada, I said all the basalt masks and stuff I'm seeing is thick lips and wide noses.
My personal view on these people is basically saying they're mixed race, and the reason why they're accepted by the so-called leopards is because they are their bastards.
What happened?
And that is why they
well, what happened?
More in different schools because they take care of them more because they know who they are, and that's why they're giving them so much right, because they're practically their kid.
Yes, that was the contract that was established with Queen Victoria. She looked at them as their children.
Myself, right?
Pardon?
And this is just my personal opinion and view of that situation.
I'm just confirming your personal view because I have the facts. I know the facts. I've got the facts. I've got the evidence, all the proof. This is not what you're saying is an opinion. This is not an opinion. This is the problem. People don't want to accept if somebody's a liar and they've been getting away with a scam all this time. Are you going to sit there and say nothing, or are you going to say, no, this guy is not the original people of the planet? What you going to do?
Yeah, because it's basically they put it in their own writing, because I was just writing about when even the myths come about and how they just squeeze themselves in.
But you know why, though? Did you study the history? Who did they say? Jacques Cartier was on a river, saw some Iroquois. They said Canada, and that's where Canada got its name from, because Canada meant village. And so what was the deal? They wanted land, so they had, some of those Frenchmen had 2 and 3 of the indigenous women, which, and what they did is they had multiple wives, talking about the French. So they did that so they could have children, and then once the children were born, the children will be entitled to what? The land. That's why they did it. It's business, contract, commerce. So when the truth comes out, what has to happen? They have to turn around and do what? Acknowledge that the original people of the planet, which was confirmed by Clark McClellan, are what they call the black people, are the original owners. That's it. That means everybody else is on our planet. I'm the only one who claimed it back and put it on an NFT.
Because you actually, you're looking deep. Yeah.
I'm not looking deep. I'm not looking deep. I'm entitled to this. This ain't looking deep. This is part of the fraud that they conducted. And so anybody anyone who's copper colored has to come through me. If they don't come through me, forget about it. They're wasting their time. They're not going to win because they're operating in a commercial world where they said pick any one of these races you want. Black, of course, means pale. There's no black racial groups of Africa, so they mean nothing, and black is an adjective. It's not a noun. So they're an object like a table, a floor lamp, a coffee table, a couch. That's what black people are because they're using a word that is not connected to their DNA, so therefore their DNA will not unlock. Belanger is not going to teach you that because then that'll show that you are actually his father. And he may not be able to handle that, but that's his problem. The fact is that pale skin is a genetic mutation, and with the sun, that's why they want to paint the skies to block the sun from heating up because we're in the sun cycle now. And with the sun cycle, planets going to get hot. They won't be, and you'll be able to find out who's who because the ones who want to go to their caves, which they call bunkers, that's how you're going to know who's who. All right? So I sent you the email, so you have to do a video. It'll take you 30 seconds. If you have any problems, call me and I'll assist you with that. And then you're going to put that video on your YouTube channel. And then once I see that, then you can come on the webinar. So if you get that to me, before the end of the week, then I'll send you the link, and then you can come on the webinar and ask me some more questions.
Okay, so the steps are there then as to how to go about that, right?
Yes, because you're going to do a video, get yourself a magnet, a light bulb, and you'll scan your shoulder. And so if you have any problems, you contact me. If you say I'm not understanding these instructions, no problem.
Okay.
All right, and what's your name again, so I'm saying this right?
Yeah, well, I'm going to the title Minister Amaru.
All right, much appreciated. So look forward to your email. And like I said, if you type in my appellation, Chief Nanya Ale BitChute, you'll see all my videos. I got a whole bunch of videos up on there.
Okay.
All white.
All right.
Kashukadur, white power.